Welcome, fam, to day 3 of our oil lesson. This one's going to be probably a little bit shorter than the others. I'll keep it nice, short, and sweet for you. Already this week, we've talked about different things such as opportunities, different generational opportunities, and the one we're talking and honing in on this week is oil in Texas. We talked about where oil was struck and found with Spindletop and how it was the big focus, how that led to opportunities for boom cycles in our economy to kind of grow really quickly. And then we also talked about bust cycles and what happens when those resources dry up or the new next best thing is broken onto the scene. Today we want to just talk about numbers. What is oil like in Texas? What is it like today? What are the production metrics? So when we go through this, I want you guys to take a look at what a typical oil refinery looks like in Texas. And this isn't just Texas, these are all over the country. Believe it or not, back in Iowa, there's one of these. And my wife's friends live like a mile away in the country. And this thing is 24/7. The lights are always on. It's always working. You always see smoke going out. You always see fires, contained fires, controlled fires, hopefully. But this is kind of like what you might see. These places are working in petroleum and working in oil, different kinds of oil, obviously, all sorts of oil, all the oils. The single largest concentration of refineries is along the Gulf Coast. So take a look here in Texas. You guys can see it not only in Texas, but in the entire country. Operable refinery locations and capacity volumes as of 2012. So this is about 8 years old, but a little over 8 years old. You guys can see oil refinery capacity 1,000 barrels per day. Look at Texas do its work. Look you go, Texas. Look at you. Texas is extraordinarily wealthy with its resources. And most of what's happening is in the Gulf and up here in the Panhandle. Now, when I drive home to Iowa for holidays, I go through here in Oklahoma, and I see a lot of the oil fields. I drive right through them. So when we're talking about these oil refineries, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil, tons of oil. Although there are 30 refineries in states, just 3 dominate. Okay, there are oil refineries in 30 states, but really the vast majority, the lion's share of all of that oil comes from these 3 states. Texas, 40%, Texas, 47%, 47%. Louisiana 19%, and California with 18%. So Tejas is putting the team on its back. Port Arthur Refinery, the Motiva Refinery, is an oil refinery located in Port Arthur, Texas. It is the largest oil refinery in North America. There is, however, obviously a dark side. There's a dark side of oil, and that being the negative non-eco-friendly impact that it may be having. So this report, I will not read it to you. However, I can link it. 6 Texas oil refineries spewing cancer-causing pollutants above federal threshold. Actually, not going to link it. I want you guys to practice what we've preached. I want you to take a look. You don't have to write down the URL, but use your researching, use your search engine skills, and make sure that you guys can literally just type this. You'll find it. 6 Texas oil refineries spewing cancer-causing pollutants above the federal threshold, which means the federal government has guidelines for what they can allow different particles into the air, different pollutants, and 6 of Texas's refineries are basically not following the rules. So they need to make sure they get better with that. The dark side of the oil production would be, like I said, the negative that negative environmental impact. And then the related products, I want you guys to see this. I'll read this, but this is the really interesting stuff in my opinion. Petroleum products include transportation fuels, fuel oils for heating and electricity generation, asphalt and road oils, and feedstocks for making the chemicals, plastics and synthetic materials that are in nearly everything we use. Of approximately 7.21 billion barrels of total U.S. petroleum consumption, again, this is a little old, in 2016, 47% was for what I think most of it's for. It's not even most, guys. 47% is used for gasoline, which includes ethanol. 20% was distillate fuel for heating oils and diesel fuels, and 8% was for jet fuel. A partial list, take a look at this list. One 42-gallon barrel of oil creates 19.4 gallons of gasoline, and the rest go to make things like this. Faucet washers, shoes. Guys, I want you to pause my video and take a look at some of these things because I'm not going to talk about all of them, but have that conversation with your siblings or with your parents or guardians. Hey, Mom, did you know that insect repellent has oil in it? Did you know that dice, maybe next time you guys are playing your game night and you guys are shaking your dice and you're ready to play, little fun fact for you, oil, sunglasses, parachutes, dishes, artificial limbs, car battery cases, there's all sorts of them. So take a look at this list and think to yourself, oil. We use it for so much, and Texas is responsible for producing so much of it. So next class tomorrow, we will wrap up what we're going to talk about ghost towns and how oil came, and then how oil kind of subsided and left, and a lot of people cut down and left. So make sure that you're continuing to go through all of your different modules, okay? Whether you're in 4th period, 5th period, or 6th period, they're a little bit different. I hope you guys are going. I don't know why that's not published, but it's not. I want you guys to go through every day. Follow your instructions. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help. Adios. Boo. I'm done. See ya.